This conference will now be recorded.
We do roll call. It's good to see everybody here tonight. I forgot what people look like. Randy and Emily are still disguised. Captain Shaw looks like he's in trouble over there, doesn't he? Have you been working with Ventura Rose? We appreciate everybody coming tonight. Nice crowd. We've been kind of lonely down here last few weeks. Nobody having to get up and give us a hard time, and that's nice. So go ahead and call this meeting to order. Chaplain?
Would you stand with able privilege? Heavenly Father, as we come before you this evening, we ask a special blessing on the City Council of Sedalia, Mayor, administrators, and all the staff who work tirelessly for our community, liberating our city's future. We also ask your guidance for and blessings for our first responders, police department, fire department, hospital workers, and all of the staff who work so tirelessly for us. We are most grateful for them, and we pray for their safety. Please bless them as they go about their duties every day. We also ask and add our plea that the virus epidemic will end soon, and that we will be able to resume our lives normally. Now, dear Lord, let us go out in peace to continue serving our community and keep us safe until we can meet again. Only this we ask in your holy name. Amen.
Allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Arlene, roll call, please.
Whitman.
Here.
Holden.
Here.
Dawson.
Here.
Nash.
Here.
Lowe.
Here.
Cross.
Here.
Rose. And David Jackson.
No, Paige
Here.
is on video.
Sorry.
Oh, sorry, I'm
She's-
here.
She's on the beach. Right, Meg?
Yes, yes.
She was kind. She didn't put the beach in the background.
Yeah, thank you.
I know,
Now,
sorry.
Chief Arrow is going to make a special presentation for life-saving awards.
Mr. Mayor and Council, thank you for the opportunity this evening. Let's get a couple things to read here real quick, and then we'll get into this. But the fire service as a whole does issue life-saving awards easily, with different agencies having different requirements to have them awarded. Some research I've done today indicates that we've had less than 3 or 4 incidents in the last 30 years when we've actually awarded life-saving awards to people in honor of state firefighters. Usually they've worked in companies of 2 or 3 because that's how they're assigned and how they work together in fires and rescues. Tonight, I'm very grateful to have the honor of Fire Chief to present life-saving awards to 3 members of the fire department for their actions taken earlier this month. I'm going to call 3 of them up front, and then I will read the citation and give them the five. So, Captain Greg Smith, firefighter Colby Snap, and firefighter Joe Arnold. All 3 of you please come forward. These 3 gentlemen were all assigned to C shift, and the day of incident were assigned to Engine 1 when this took place. This life-saving award was given by the Department of Alarm number 2020-906, dated June 4th of 2020. Time to call was 22:53 hours, and I'm going to read this so that I get it right. At approximately 22:53 hours on June 4th of 2020, FFD Engine 1 was dispatched to report of a patient having difficulty breathing. At 22:57, Engine 1 arrived on team has found a male patient lying on his bed. His wife stated she didn't think that he was still breathing. Captain Smith checked for a pulse, found none, and instructed his crew to place the patient on the floor. He then began CPR while firefighters no armor, applied the AED, and firefighter pulled his neck and worked on the patient's airway. Firefighter snapped back the patient and inserted the airway. The crew went through 2 cycles of CPR in front of a pulse check, and a pulse was found. At approximately time, Battalion Chief Gary Myers of the Best Ambulance arrived on scene and assumed patient care as a senior medical person on scene. He instructed the ambulance crew to help load the patient to transport once the ambulance arrived. Firefighter snapped continued to assist with ventilating the patient until decaffeinating the patient. At this time, firefighter snapped drove the ambulance to the staff to Health on Ohio, where the patient was flown to the University of Missouri Hospital to be offered for treatment. The Sedalia Fire Department personnel involved performed their duties in the highest tradition of fire service and the Sedalia Fire Department, and are hereby awarded this life-saving award. And last Friday, we were able to make contact and determine that the individual is still alive, which is University Hospital. So,
Captain Greg Smith.
Well done.
Joey's like, gentlemen, thank you. Thank you. We have a motion to approve the minutes of the June 1 meeting. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Thank you, Megan.
Rob, before you continue, when you take the next part out of order, we'll go to the finance report. We're missing first for our presentation.
So we can go ahead and do P4's presentation. Pete, we'll go ahead and do P4's presentation. So tonight, Kevin and I have been working with P4 today, putting together how important and what we're doing and what he has done with the police department that's probably above what everybody else in the communities have done around Missouri and the United States. And so we're going to make this, P4 is going to make this presentation. Kevin, you have?
Yeah, I just wanted to say that, we consistently review our policies and procedures and taking appropriate steps to avoid the terrible issues that are going on around the nation. And, when we were looking at all of the things that were being suggested for the police reform and those kinds of things, we really were kind of astonished, if you will, as to how far behind some of the police forces are in what they're doing. Some of the things that they're suggesting as police reforms, we've been doing for decades, and so we thought it would be good to have Chief Work to come and talk a little bit about that. But as we say that, we're not going to rest on our laurels here. Even though we're ahead of the game, so to speak, we want to stay there, and we will continue to assess what we're doing and make sure that what we're doing is aimed at the protection of not only the officers but the public at large. So
we're blessed to have a great leadership team, and I think they take their responsibility very seriously on a daily basis. Chief Work?
As they said, a lot of what we're seeing in action, there's been a lot of questions for me, for the mayor and city administrator, and I believe even the council, about a lot of the different topics that we're seeing come out throughout the country. So this isn't all inclusive of what our department does, but it touches on things that have become important and that folks want to see doing within your agency. Now, I apologize, I had a small surgery on Friday on my lip, and so I may mispronounce things. I may sound funny. I'm not doing that intentionally. It's just the nature of what happened. So what I kind of named this is our commitment to community. I think that's important at times like this to understand what we see our organization and how they fit into the community. We see, and I see our organization as part of the community, not against the community. So that's what this is aimed at in our overall mission, but it's also, what we're talking about tonight with some of these things. So within this commitment to community, these topics that we're seeing across the nation have to do a lot with training, use of force, our policies that we use at our police department, and also community engagement. And those are some different things that we're doing that are probably outside of what a lot of people realize that law enforcement does, beyond just the standard. The majority of people see law enforcement making traffic stops, maybe working a traffic accident, or coming and taking a police report. There's a lot more things that law enforcement does than just those things. I'm going to try to keep this within a reasonable amount of time. Those of you guys that know me know that I tend to talk way too long. So when it comes to training, let's talk a little bit about some of the points of our department and what we do as an agency to try to keep ourselves headed in the right direction. So the SPD averages 56 hours a year for each officer, which means that the state requires us to have 24. So we do that much in-house training for everybody. There's actually officers that get way more than that, depends on the topic and discipline or instructor or something like that. That's our average. All of our use of force training includes verbal commands at every level. There's some advantages to that, obviously, that's giving people that we might have to use force against to comply, but also keeps us really keep us calm in the right direction. Again, you're going to know that these are kind of pointed towards some of the stuff we're seeing, questions being brought up across the nation. As a transparent police organization, I feel like it's important to point these things out to folks of what we're doing in response to questions that we might have. Our officers use and train with the RAT system to control people who resist arrest after being handcuffed. The RAT system allows us to put people into a woven nylon material, and it allows us to be able to control that so they can't hurt themselves or hurt anybody else after they're released in that system. They are expensive, but they come in very handy for situations. They really evolved through the mental health side of law enforcement comes in contact with people that might want to hurt themselves, which you use in a lot of situations. Great thing about it is that they allow people to maintain their airway when they're in that system, and allows us to be, for example, medical treatment, allows the ambulance to be able to still get to the important things on a person that they might need to, like their airway, like their drug blood is drawn, or if they need an IV. Another important part of our training in our department is crisis intervention training. Crisis intervention training, which I tend to usually call CIT. That is a week-long training and an ongoing training that helps police officers recognize mental health situations and all kinds of different things throughout our community when they're on patrol, when they're working with people. It also helps them identify and determine ways to de-escalate. So there's a large part of that de-escalation. So when I took over chief, I dedicated our department to everyone having this training, and that's a part of our culture, that's part of our department, to make sure that everybody has those resources. Some departments do only just train certain officers on shifts and things like that, but for us, it's important to head down that road to make sure that everybody has it. So one of our other topics was use of force training. So when we look at any kind of training that we have within our department, we have 4 guiding principles that we like to look at. We want to train for the success of our rights, which means that things are limited to things. These are the opposite, injury to the person. That is limited. We also want to train for successful department review. Within the department, we review our use of forces. We review our arrests. We review our police reports. We want that to train for success. We want to train for successful criminal case review, meaning a case that the officer has made to make that arrest. We also want to train for a successful civil review. If there's some sort of civil case on and involved against the department, we want to train for success. What we look at then is that it's not only running that situation, but it's running all the way through and making sure that our department is doing things professionally. Continuing on with that, our department does not train on use of restraints. That's been something that's been asked several times. We haven't actually done, my knowledge, I've been here with my reserve time 21 years and we've never used neck restraints in that time. Our use of force training is designed for the safety of the public and the officer. I mentioned that earlier. We have had Panasonic body-worn cameras on our officers since 2015, and we still maintain those today. We also use the Panasonic car cameras with dash and prisoner cameras. Scan on the front of every marked car, and also in the prisoner transport area to record and document those situations. We also, and again, these are top procedures nationwide. We also have comprehensive use of force reporting. And again, there's really nothing here that I'm telling you about what we haven't been doing for years. We have comprehensive use of force reporting. So all our use of force reports are reviewed by the supervisor, by the commander, and the chief. And the commander reviews all the body-worn camera footage from that use of force. We use that then to evaluate trends and identify areas we can improve our tactics. So as we continue to evolve in the law enforcement agency, and we come across something that's not working or needs improvement, it allows us to put that into our training. So, for example, I told you about those 56 hours that we use in our department for our in-house training each year. If we identify something in our tactics that needs improvement, that becomes a portion of our in-service training. And again, our use of force training is designed for the safety of the public and the officer. Our police policy, so there's quite a few questions and a lot of thoughts and things being said around the United States about our policy in general. So our policy, we had a very comprehensive update in the first quarter of 2019. We reestablished our entire department policy. Several of the things that you're seeing requested or suggested across the United States, we already do, such as a duty interview policy, things like that. Our department already has that. Our department policy is within consultation with Lexipol management or knowledge management system, which it also includes daily training bulletins. This allows us to notice anything that's hundreds and hundreds of pages long. It's good to have a way that our officers can keep up to date and also reminded of it. So they do daily training bulletins with that through through Lexipol. They help us do that. So these policies, through our consultation with Lexipol, these policies are reviewed and updated regularly to maintain our state and national standards. So it's something that is somewhat of a fluid document that we, that doesn't stay stagnant over decades. That's changed when there's necessary changes. And then we have their knowledge and their nationwide companies, if that's what they do. So they're up to date on these things and they help us with it. They follow up court cases and review those things to help us maintain ourselves and maintain our state and national standards. Moving on to the final category of community engagement. So many of our community engagement programs are aimed at working with the public to solve community problems collectively and prevent crime. We realize we can't arrest ourselves out of any kind of situation. We still have to hold people accountable. We still have to prevent things happening at a time. But long term, some of the things that we're already doing within the city, and I'll talk about that here in a moment, are things that help us prevent long-term crime and actually try to turn those things around. Some of the examples of community engagement programs that we've had over the last year is the No Shave November program that we did last November. It was a friendly competition with us in the fire department. That raised almost $8,000, and the community got involved and donated with it. Raised almost $8,000 to help with the homeless warming shelter here in Sedalia, and hopefully we're going to expand not only with the warming shelter, but also that it becomes an annual event between us and the fire department. We're always up to some good competition. But also to help with local organizations that are trying to improve our community and try to deal with the problems that we see in the entire community. So again, the idea behind it is that we're working to solve problems that the community together. Problems within a community aren't just the police department's problems. They're all our problems. And it's a way for us to all work together to solve that problem. Another thing that we do is Cops for Codes. This is something that we do during the whole season, is that we purchase codes for folks that are really in need. Our DARE program, so all these years later, it's been going on for a long time. It's one of the most successful DARE programs in the state of Missouri. And we average around 480 students a year. That interaction is a positive one for kids in school. It's not help police officers and of course learn about decision making. There is a lot more than just about drugs. It's about decision making, helping teach our children about making good decisions and being good responsible stewards of our community. Some of the final things is the United Way Community Action Group that we've been involved in the last year with. We're working in that close gaps, organized community resources. So this started out working a lot on mental health within our area, but it's also involved in the addiction resources that are around our area. We know that a lot of times crimes are committed over drug and alcohol addiction. So our idea behind that with the United Way campus, that's not taking credit for that. What that is that it's trying to bring the resources within our community together to close the gaps so people aren't falling through with this referral to community mental health side of things, but also to bring these organizations that are willing to help with addiction and drug addiction and alcohol addiction become more readily available. Our hope is that more families and friends have the ability to help a friend or a family member into, say, for example, an addiction program, so that is interceded long before they come into the criminal justice system. The idea behind that is that we're reducing crime by someone who has an addiction. Maybe they're not seeing from a store or doing something like that, they're getting the treatment they need. So we want to try to do that. Sometimes people end up doing something that is beyond that addiction, and no one feels comfortable until they call the police, and by the time we're involved in it, it's a little bit further down the deteriorating side of the situation. There's several other things that, like, for example, Code Fear does, kind of in conjunction with that, with diversion programs that are going on in our community, help folks also with these mental health and addiction issues. So trying to move forward with those in the mental health and addiction side, and trying to get those programs available for the community. Finally, one of the things is that as the city, the Sedalia 353 program, which is fairly new and has been a big asset with council in the last weeks, and this program we're working towards as a city, but is to improve our neighborhoods within our city. And that's on a lot of different levels. So it's not on a law enforcement level, but that's on the quality of housing in the community and that neighborhood. That program will help those improvements. So it's something that the police department is obviously absolutely in support of, but it's worked already with the program and will continue to work at this as we can improve neighborhoods. As we improve the environment of those neighborhoods, we hope to prevent crime and improve that particular neighborhood. So we'll do that through improving neighborhoods. We can help reduce crime. Like I was saying, there's a lot of different ways to improve crime or to reduce crime. There's a lot of different ways to do that, and those are taken on, I guess you could say different facets and aspects, kind of a diversification of how we deal with that problem. So that is it in a nutshell, and moving as fast as I can get through those large topics that we're seeing across the United States. Our commitment is that the Sedalia Police Department is dedicated to serving the citizens of our community through professional law enforcement. We demand officers adhere to strong moral principles and hold integrity to the path of public trust. These are sentences that come out of and ideas that come out of our policy. And it's our commitment to the community, and I think that's important to bring out in this time in our nation. That's what I have.
Thank you, Chief.
Any questions? Thanks, sir.
Yeah. So what is the exact policy?
So our policy is that we use force where it is necessary to make arrests for other situations and whatever it is at that level. So that includes deadly force. So that would be our last resort, and that would be if it is necessary to prevent arrests. So it doesn't. There's not. So after Ferguson occurred in Missouri, there was a lot of reform. So our policy mimics the reform that came out of Ferguson.
Okay. I know the county does not have anything to do with the city, but if the county follows the same policy as the city.
I do not. I didn't know that we're two separate entities, and I do not know their policy.
But that goes back to your crisis intervention training and and that de-escalation and all of that, and that's where it's really important. You know, yes, you can't ever say you won't use deadly force because you got to be able to protect the community, but they are trained to eliminate that threat before it gets to the point of deadly force. So the whole crisis intervention, using things to make sure that we don't have to use it. Heaven forbid we ever do have to use it, but it's all of this is aimed at preventing it from getting to that stage, if that makes any sense.
Chief, thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Megan Page is going to go jump into Jeff Raven to recognize the POWMI presentation.
You go to the next step, you should be here. The next portion is we wait for Paul to come and participate in this. So let's give the financial update from our city administrator.
Okay, yeah. Basically, there's a chart up there on the screen, and kind of going through that. The first line up there is the 4.2% year-over-year reduction for the month for sales tax. And then if you look down at the bottom, again, the sales tax is the biggest item there, or the biggest source of revenue for us. And we're at 5.5% year to date, above where we were this time last year. And that's really good. But then if you take out the 1/8 cent or Parks and Rec tax that was increased by the voters and started in January, if you take that out for the month of June, we would have been 8.8% down, and fiscal year to date, 0.3% above. Now, that's actually better than what I would have expected with the COVID, with everything shut down. So, but then when I started looking further at the data, when I looked back at June of 2018 or June of 2019, June of 2019 was actually significantly above any other June collections, which is really April sales. It was significantly above our average. It was significantly above 2018. So if you look at 2018 and compare our 2020 numbers to our 2018 numbers, we're actually 6.4% above where we were in 2018, which 2018 was about an average June or June collections April sales. Fiscal year to date, we would be 7.3% above. I guess the message here to me is you know, the COVID stuff and the economy was really shut down mid-March through May and first part of June. But to me, we're not out of the woods yet, but it sure gives me good reason for optimism that we are not going to be hit hard at all. And that, you know, really the March numbers being up so much is really going to offset where we were in April. We'll probably be down again in May, but for May sales, so next month. So next month we'll tell the tale, and then we'll see where we go from there. So be happy to entertain any questions. The other items, they're trending about the same as what they have been. But be happy to entertain any questions, comments.
Any council questions? Next item, we need a motion to
We have records destruction from the personnel department, which is kind of a housekeeping.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? I will ask once more, Paul Bennett out there.
We can come back to Paul, Jeff. Okay. Okay.
Go ahead.
So we'll continue on. We're got Public Works there, Jeff.
Paul will be here after the meeting, you guys. I will. Mayor, we'll continue.
So you continue on with Public Works now, Jeff. Okay.
And I'm sorry I did step in on.
That's okay.
Chairman Page, I'm used to doing that in the past, so. Anyway, with our Public Works, I have several items. Thank you. Has to do with the term contract in regards to our sanitary sewer lines over the past few years. A company called Instituform. It has to do with lining these sewer lines with foam and gardens. These have to replace, especially in our places like under roads. We are in the process of trying to renegotiate that contract. Bill, do you have anything you want to add to that?
No, it's purchased under a cooperative agreement. It's we budget about $131,000 this year, and the areas that we scoped out, it came in just under that budget at right at $131,000. So staff recommends approval.
Any council questions? Arlene, read the ordinance.
Bill number 2020-110, an ordinance approving and accepting a cooperative agreement by and between the city of Sedalia, Missouri, and Instituform Technologies USA LLC to perform tier-in-place pipe, which is CIPP, lining of various sanitary sewer lines in the city of Sedalia, Missouri.
Second reading.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye. Opposed?
Bill number 2020-110, an ordinance approving and accepting a cooperative agreement by and between the city of Sedalia, Missouri, and Instituform Technologies USA LLC to perform tier-in-place pipe, CIPP, lining of various sanitary sewer lines in the city of Sedalia, Missouri.
Second. Roll call, please.
Cross?
Yes.
Rose?
Yes.
Page?
Yes.
Lehman?
Yes.
Oldham?
Yes.
Johnson?
Yes.
Nash?
Yes.
And Vogt?
Yes.
All in favor?
Next item I have is final change order for the 2018 Water System Improvement Contract number 2. This is usually on 13th Street. This adds, according to our contract, the extra pieces and parts that we had to a total of about $8,808.10. It brought it to a total of $436,664.10. This will finish this off.
Any discussion from council? Questions? Read the ordinance, Arlene.
Bill number 2020-111, an ordinance approving and accepting final change order number 1 by and between the city of Sedalia, Missouri, and Bryan Construction Company, LLC, for 2018 Water System Improvement Contract number 2, 13th Street project.
Second reading. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Bill number 2020-111, an ordinance approving and accepting final change order number 1 by and between the city of Sedalia, Missouri, and Bryan Construction Company, LLC, for 2018 Water System Improvement Contract number 2, 13th Street project.
Final passage. Second.
Roll call, please.
Rose,
Yes.
Page,
Yes.
Lehman,
Yes.
Oldham,
Yes.
Dawson,
Yes.
Nash,
Yes.
Lowe,
Yes.
Cross,
Yes.
all in favor.
The next item that I have has to do with the purchase of a mini excavator and a hammer that also fits that has to do with breaking up concrete. We noticed over time, we were actually discussing this back in January during our budget session of purchasing one of these. When we go in and have to repair sewer or water lines, this makes it small equipment, it's easier to get in and get out. It's much more handleable, and we've also had a problem with the current backhoe, which is a much larger unit. The transmission has died and it's been out of service for several months. We actually had a chance to use this excavator. It's working very well. I would recommend that we do purchase one along with the concrete breakup hammer. The unit itself is $48,050, and the hammer itself is $10,369.
Any council discussion? Questions? Arlene, read the ordinance.
Bill number 2020-112, an ordinance approving and accepting 2 sales agreements by and between the city of Missouri and Foley Equipment Company for the purchasing of a mini excavator and V6S hammer to be utilized by the Water Division and Public Works Department.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Bill number 2020-112, an ordinance approving and accepting 2 sales agreements by and between the city of Sedalia, Missouri and Foley Equipment Company for the purchasing of a mini excavator and V6S hammer to be utilized by the Water Department and Public Works Department.
Final passage. Second.
Roll call, please.
Page,
Yes.
Lehman,
Yes.
Oldham,
Yes.
Dawson,
Yes.
Nash,
Yes.
Lowe,
Yes.
Cross,
Yes.
and Rose,
Yes.
all in favor.
Final thing I have tonight has to do with the Hickory Community Center change order. We're in the process of, anybody who's not there, it's a great meeting last Thursday, groundbreaking, which is absolutely fabulous. It's a great meeting, great people were there, and we're on our way to get this thing done. This has to do with an internal order. It doesn't cost anything, but there's a timing change is what this is all about. It has to do with the loss of process here. We pre-engineered that a little bit so that we can include it in this, and there is no change for this. So I don't know if anybody wants to add any comments, but
Yeah, basically it was, if y'all remember, we did a few contracts ahead of time. And then when we did the general contractor, when we brought the general contractor on, they need to bring all of these together and make sure that everything happens at the right times. And so as the general contractor is firming up the schedule, then some of the contract dates that we had inside the pre-engineered metal building contract needed to be adjusted. So that's really all this does. It doesn't change the the substance of the contract. It doesn't change the dollar amount of the contract. It just changes when things have to be done. So, Amy, did I miss anything? Staff recommends approval.
Any questions from council? Arlene, with the ordinance?
Bill number 2020-113, an ordinance approving and accepting change order number 1 signed between the city of Schenectady, Missouri, and Al J. Mueller Construction Company for the Hector Community Center.
Second reading.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
2020-113, an ordinance approving and accepting change order number 1 signed between the city of Schenectady, Missouri, and Al J. Mueller Construction Company for the Hector Community Center.
Final passage.
Roll call, please.
Freeman.
Yes.
Oldham.
Yes.
Johnson.
Yes.
Nash.
Yes.
Lowe.
Yes.
Ross.
Yes.
Rose.
Yes.
And Page.
Yes.
All in favor.
That's all I have tonight.
Jeff, you want to continue on with the MIA POW?
At this time, the city, the last year and a half, has been working on a project that honors the POWs. Part of that is, like, some of our buildings have the flag, POW flag, and all that. It is actually a national program. At this point, if I can ask Paul Bennett and introduce your guests, the people that are here, they're actually going to give us a presentation.
Good evening, Paul.
Thank you, sir. This evening, this whole project is a culmination. And with us, I am Mr. Alan Hawkins, who is the last surviving field of man in this area. Thank you, Alan. From the field WMIA agency in Jefferson Barracks, the one that's handling this program throughout the state, I have Mr. Lisa, Rich Tiger, and Noel Freeman. At this time, they have a presentation for the city.
Real quickly, I'd like to give you just a little bit of history about the Jefferson Barracks POWMI Museum located in Jefferson Barracks, and also about our POWMI City program. In 2012, U.S. Representative Russ Carnahan from Missouri noticed that there was a building in Jefferson Barracks that was not being used, and he thought, let's see if we can come up with a purpose for this building that had previously housed the Civilian Conservation Corps Museum, which was Valley Hill. And so he contacted several veterans organizations in the state of Missouri and asked what we could do to put a museum in that building. And the outcome of that was that we wanted to do a POWMIA museum. There is no other POWMIA museum in the country. The closest thing we have is the POW museum down in Andersonville, Georgia, which basically recognizes the Civil War POW. So we put this together. The board of directors consists of 2 members from 14 different veteran service organizations in Missouri, along with one corporate sponsor that we have. And we're working on building these remodeling the museum right now. It's not open. We hope to have an grand opening next year. We were planning on one for September, but the virus that's been going has everything closed down, so we've not been able to complete the work on it In the meantime, we wanted to figure out a way that we could honor the POWs and MIAs and educate the general population about POWs and MIAs. And one of the programs we came up with was the POW MIA City program. The POW MIA City is a registered state mark within the state of Missouri, and we are also working with the federal government to have a trademark that program. We also, after we had some initial success with POW MIA City, we instituted the POW MIA County program, and then also a POW MIA State program. Right now, we have approximately 35 cities, POW MIA cities. Most of them are in Missouri, but we do have one in Kansas, we have 4 or 5 in Illinois, and 8 in Ohio. We're back in Ohio. There's one county that has the POW MIA county status, plus all 8 cities within that county have POW MIA city status. We also just started a POW MIA campus program. And what this is, we have one program, one school that is starting this program, that's Hillsborough, Missouri school district that started a POW campus program, which we educate and our younger students about the POW MIA program, and also all the POW and MIA and what they went through in the course of their incarceration as POW or MIA. Tonight, Mr. Mayor, I would like to present to you this proclamation, and if you don't mind, I would like to read it. Whereas the city of Sedalia in the state of Missouri remains resolute that no American serviceman or servicewoman who can be recovered shall be knowingly left behind on the field of battle. And whereas the city of Sedalia holds the highest regard for the sacrifices made by all American prisoners of war, POWs, who surrendered their freedom and endured great hardship in the defense of the American civil liberties and values. And whereas on the date of this printing, the number of American missing in action, MIA, from all U.S. wars stands at 81,899. And whereas the people of the city of Sedalia hold dear the sacrifice of all American servicemen and women who have given their lives with specific attention by this proclamation, those whose whereabouts still remain unknown. And whereas the city of Sedalia recognizes the POW MIA flag designed by New Isley in 1972 as a symbol of our nation's concern and commitment to resolving as fully as possible the fate of American killed prisoners, missing, and unaccounted for from all U.S. wars, thus ending the uncertainty for their families and the nation by finally providing closure. And whereas the homes and businesses of the city of Sedalia are encouraged to display the POW MIA flag when practical and appropriate in conjunction with the flag of the United States. And whereas the citizens of the city of Sedalia, with somber appreciation, extend their gratitude to all POW MIA family members who continue to carry the burden of their personal loss and offer encouragement that the fate and location of their missing loved ones will be made known again. Now, therefore, by majority consent of the Justice and Barracks POW MIA Museum Board of Directors, that hereby proclaim the city of Sedalia as the POW MIA city, and encourages the citizens of the city of Sedalia to continue showing their appreciation for the sacrifices made by our nation's POWs and MIA, along with their families in the defense of American liberty and values. In witness thereof, this 15th day of June 2020, signed Paul Dillon, President, Jefferson Davis POW MIA. Now, also, to go along with that, I have two signs that can be posted at the city limits or wherever you want to post them. One was presented by the museum in recognition for Sedalia becoming a POW city. The other sign was purchased by the American Legion here in Sedalia for the city of Sedalia. So we have two signs right now, and others are available for small. If I may, call Alan Hawkins up there. You can remember American Legion here in Dallas. Also, before you put those up, city limits for Department of Transportation said you must go through them for, the routine. Okay. Just wanted to remind you because we have to tell. Yeah. You got to approve. I wanted to say one thing. You said this is a culmination. It's really the beginning because your requirement is to have one educational program a year somewhere in the community. You can target students. You can target anyone you want to. But something about POWs and MIAs to keep people thinking about it. Also, it's cost of Harris County. The county, but we're doing. Thank you very much. Thanks for coming. Arlene, new appointments.
To members of the City Council for Mayor John Cady. We do new appointments. The first one is to the Citizens Traffic Advisory Commission, Sherry Royal, 30997 Garrison Road, Smithton, Missouri. Completing Shirley West's term expiring June 2022. And on the Park Board, Janet Summers, 1619 West Broadway, Unit 4, completing Kevin Thomas's term expiring June 2022.
Second.
All in favor? Opposed? Liquor license, Arlene?
We have 7 new licenses this evening and 12 renewals. The first one is Mark Otten doing business as Full Throttle Limited, 16 South Ohio, for liquor by the drink.
Well, yeah, if council's pleasure, they do not have a certificate of occupancy yet for the facility. And typically we wait until we get that certificate of occupancy before we approve these. It's up to council if you want to go ahead and approve it, but the license would not be issued until the certificate of occupancy, until the building met code and all of that. Or we can pull it and then bring it back when the certificate of occupancy is done. So what's your pleasure?
What's the pleasure of the council?
Do you have any idea how close it is to
I think it's a ways away. I don't think we've had plans yet, have we? So.
If that's that recommendation, Arlene, we're going to table that.
The Honorable Bill, Red, Deanna, Carolyn, Davis, and Morales, Taco Peterson, 125-16 for liquor under drinking Sunday sales. Kyle Gray, doing business as casual animal delivery, 1725 East Street, Kansas City, Missouri. It's a temporary event open to our craft beer cellar event downtown today on June 22nd, 2020. Shane Cox doing business at 6 Mile Bridge, 11841 Dorset Road, Maryland Heights, Missouri. This was a temporary event, open door craft beer cellar event downtown today. We have 3 more for that event. Christy Long, doing business at Wildlife Fish Miami, 34751 Miller Road, Smithton, Missouri. We have Mike Kimberly doing business at Phantom Distilling Company, 97 Southeast 341 Road, Orangeburg, Missouri. And the last one is Chris Bayers, doing business Ale House, 106 West Jasper Street, Purcell, Missouri. The reviews this evening, we have 4 of them. Happy guests doing business in break time number 3084 at 318 West Broadway for Sunday sales. Happy guests doing business in break time 3801 West Broadway for Sunday sales. Happy guests doing business in break time 3083 at 808 East Broadway for Sunday sales. Tony Oldfield, doing business at Applebee's Neighborhood Grill and Bar at 3320 West Broadway for liquor registration and Sunday sales.
Motion to approve in block.
All in favor? Opposed?
Aye.
We have a motion to adjourn signed by.
Motion to adjourn, signed.
So, council, stay up there. I'm going to make a presentation to you. If that's okay. It's been a pleasure working with you. I'm sure it's been difficult for you guys working with me.
Stay in touch.
Thank you.
Thank you, Cal.
Appreciate your help.
Thank you, Joe.
So the next procedure, we're going to have council, new council members to come on up and take their we're going to do it up here.
How you doing? Oh.
Welcome.
Okay, we will do your oath of office, and after we do this, I'd like for you to sign it, and then I'll come back So if you will raise your right hand and repeat after me. I, in your name, do solemnly swear or affirm that I possess all the qualifications prescribed by law for the office of city councilman of the city of Sedalia, Missouri, that I will support the Constitution of the United States and of the state of Missouri, the provisions of all laws of this state, affecting cities of the third class, and the ordinances of the city, and faithfully to me myself in office. Welcome and congratulations. Congratulations.
I don't have a pen, I see.
Yeah, put a pin there.
Yeah. Lucas has one.
Congratulations.
You spell it right? I believe you did. So we'll call to order this new council session. Roll call, please, Orlean.
Here.
Golden,
Here.
Johnson,
Here.
Walker,
Here.
Richardson,
Here.
Cross, Foster, and Page.
Here.
Do we have any nominations for Mayor Pro Tem?
I nominate Honorable Andrew Dawson. I second.
Any other nominations?
Will nomination cease?
I move that we nominate Andrew Dawson as Mayor Pro Tem by acclamation.
Congratulations, sir.
Now, I have, if you haven't seen this, it's council sign. Okay, council, we have to go through a procedure of anybody from the council, city administrator, mayor, and Mr. County. You have the floor. I guess everybody's going to be quiet tonight.
I guess I would say, first of all, thank you for the service from the outgoing council members. We appreciated working with you and appreciate your service. And for the new council members, we're looking forward to working with you. We will schedule some orientation and some trainings and those kinds of things, but we'll get the ball rolling and get you into the fire as quick as possible. No, seriously, looking forward to working with you.
Anybody else want to make a comment? Marianne, you're quiet. Huh? Lucas? Yes. Anybody from the audience want to make a comment tonight? You're welcome. Come on forward. Just give us your name and address.
How you doing? My name is Sean. And from the second quarter today.
Come up here.
There's a couple things I'd like to address today.
Come up here and use this microphone if you don't mind.
There's a couple things I'd like to address today to the council. As y'all know, we had a tragedy occur in our city over the weekend. There's a lot of upset and hurt people. There's confused. I know this has no bearing on the city per se, as far as the investigation goes or anything like that. But the city itself and the people of your city are looking for a lot of transparency going on with this. There will be demonstrations coming up very soon, like in the next 48 hours. So, give you guys a heads up. There are a lot of people that are looking for change. And as we see a lot of new council members on the board. These people represent some of our voices in this town. This is why these people are on this board. I want you guys to know that. Ms. Foster, we know Ms. Foster, we know Mr. Richardson, we know Ms. Bucks. You know what I'm saying? These people represent us. And for the older members on the board, if the people of this town want to start seeing some of the things that we want, we will be exercising our vote and getting more representation for people like us, like-minded people, to represent us on this board. And that's all I have to say to you ladies.
Thanks for coming forward. I appreciate that.
Yeah, good evening.
Okay. Anybody else to make a comment? Connie, you coming up?
I don't really think I need to microphone. My name is Connie Washington. I've been here before. I'm having a little problem with code enforcement that I really shouldn't be having. And the problem that it is, I know I'm right. And when I know I'm right, I just can't let it go. It's like I'm like a pit bull. I'm not going to let it go. But I'm not going to complain right now because I'm getting the runaround from everybody except the mayor. And I just want to give you an attaboy because you didn't call me back. You came to the house, you saw the problem, you walked around it, and you gave me some recognition. That's all I wanted you to do. And I appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you. So we have a motion to adjourn and go to closed door.
If I could recommend, if we adjourn, we can go do the reception deal, and then
we'll go to closed door.
We'll take
Okay.
a few minutes, and then we'll go to closed door.
Okay.
Is just left to adjourn.
All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Thank you.
So when you close down back here,
Yeah, we always. She has a house over on, Harrison. And it's been a problem. And it's still, and I went over and visited. We own a piece of property, we city behind it. It's a mess. So I could.
The city property is a mess behind it?
Yes, and so I couldn't say, Connie, we got to take care of it. And I don't know. Brandon has something on it. I don't know what we've done.
So it's 108 first?
Or 1108.
1108?
It might be 11. No, I thought it was 1102 South Harris. But anyway, the property that's owned by the city is directly behind it. So it's where Harrison and, what is that, 11th Street intersect? It's 1102 South Harrison. So the city property is 11th Street. And it's,
Here's your shovel.
oh, well, thank you.
You've made,
Yeah.
is it
I
city
was
property? Oh, yeah, she's right. Because the city property.
No, it's her property.
No, the city behind it. The city.
There's a city property behind it.
There's her property, the city property.
He wants us to remove the abatement fee.
I think this piece of paper protects.
From an abatement on her property. I told her I don't have the authority to remove those fees.
Oh, she wants those fees.
Yes, she didn't care about that property behind that. She didn't want to pay the fees.
I remember seeing some trees over there. That was,
She tries to knock it off, but that wasn't that much of an abatement. It wasn't really their stuff.
yeah.
As long as it's something which is recited in February, and you actually have an extra month to remove it because of COVID. That's what I thought.
I was having a hard time understanding that what the issue was. Because at first, we don't ever have people come here. It's always the other way.